On today's First Time Buyer channel, we're going to answer a question for self-employed people. How do I purchase a home if I have my own business? Hey, welcome back. Enrique here with First West Financial. This is the First Time Buyer channel, and this is the place where we answer all the questions related to buying a home for the first time. So if you are in the market to buying a home, you're thinking about it, maybe you're just toying with the idea and you don't know where to start, this is the place to start because we answer all the questions. In fact, I want to encourage you to hit subscribe and also go check out the rest of our videos. We have dozens of videos, all of them related to buying a home and becoming a homeowner. So today we're going to answer an important question because I get a lot of phone calls every single day from people who want to purchase a home and they say, you know what, Enrique, I have my own business, I'm self-employed, I don't know if I can buy a home. It's tougher to buy a home if you're self-employed. And we are going to answer that question and we're going to tell you and walk you through that process. So the first thing you need to do is understand that there is a difference between someone who is self-employed and someone who is a W-2 wage earner. So what is considered self-employment? A lot of people say, oh, no, I don't have my own business, but my boss pays me with a 1099. Or I work for a company, and then when we look at their taxes, we realize they are self-employed because they get a 1099 independent contractor. A lot of people work in companies like Uber or Instacart where they deliver food, and those are great jobs, but they are considered self-employed. So pretty much anyone that doesn't receive a W-2, like a regular paycheck where they take taxes out, may be considered self-employed. Now, if you receive Social Security or pension or alimony or child support, that doesn't count. You're not self-employed. We're talking about contractors, people who receive a 1099. Now, there's a lot of you who are watching this who get a 1099 and you are labeled as a contractor by your employer when in reality you shouldn't be. You should be a W-2 wage earner. A lot of employers, in order to avoid paying taxes to the state, and paying insurance and paying all the requirements that we have to pay as employers, what they do is they write you a 1099 and say, hey, you're self-employed, when in reality you're not. So you have to be very, very careful because you may think you are an employee, but in reality, your employer is paying you as a contractor. Now, once you determine that indeed you are self-employed, let's say you have a corporation or you have a self-proprietor business, maybe whatever it is that you do, but you understand that you are self-employed, there are certain requirements that you need to have in order to become a homeowner. Now, I will not lie to you, it's a little harder in many cases for a lot of people to become homeowners if you are self-employed. Particularly if you're watching this during the COVID times. During COVID, we have certain rules for self-employed people that are making it a little harder. But not everybody's gonna have trouble with it. That's why I wanna be able to unpack this. So the first thing you need to know is you need to understand that you have to have a history of self-employment. If you started your business 6 months ago, 5 months ago, and you want to go purchase a home, it's going to be harder. Not impossible, but it's going to be harder. Typically, you have to have a 2-year history. That means that you have to have filed taxes over 2 years for the bank to be able to determine your income. You cannot go to the bank and say, well, I've had a business for 2 years, but I haven't filed taxes. Well, how's the bank going to determine how much you qualify for if we don't have your returns? So if you already filed your return, say for example 2019 and 2020, then we look at those returns and we make a determination. The second thing you need to know is that your business needs to be profitable. If you have a business that loses money, the bank is not going to lend you money to purchase a home. It's just that simple. So there is a direct conflict between the work that we do, which is qualify you for a home, and the work that your CPA may do. You may have a very good CPA that says, hey, listen, I'm going to take all these legal deductions, and they're legal. So we're going to show that you make no money. Well, it's going to be hard to buy a home. Remember, we don't qualify you with the money you make. We qualify you with the money you keep and the money you report to the IRS. What does that mean? Well, if you make, say, $100,000 in sales, let's say you sell widgets, and you sold $100,000 worth of widgets, but you had expenses. You had your car expense, you had your telephone, you had your rent, you had all these different subcontractors that you paid off. And at the bottom, you say, but out of the 100, I only kept 20 profit. That's the number that the bank is most likely to use to qualify you. So it's not about how much you make. I have a lot of people that say, oh, I make really good money. My business is very profitable. And then when we look at the taxes, I say, well, you know, your accountant put all these deductions. He goes, oh yeah, he did that so I don't pay taxes. Well, according to the IRS, your business is not profitable. You may think it's profitable because you're keeping the profit, but if you're not reporting it to the IRS, it's going to be very, very difficult to qualify. So how do I know how much I qualify for? Well, if you're self-employed, don't try to figure it out yourself. What you need to do is you need to gather your returns, the most recent 2 years, and speak to a loan officer like us, an independent broker, so we can make a determination. We actually have calculators where we plug in all the numbers and we are able to determine what you qualify for if you are self-employed. Now, if you are one of those businesses that has a lot of deductions, but you have a lot of revenue, in other words, you get a lot of deposits, money coming in, but then you have a lot of deductions, there are some alternatives that are legal alternatives on how to purchase a home. We call those non-QM loans. We call them non-QM because that's just the denomination that we put on them. And we use different techniques to qualify you. One of them is a bank statement technique. That means that instead of looking at your taxes and your tax returns, we look at the deposits that you make in the bank. So we go back a year or 2 years, we add up all the deposits, and we use a formula to determine what you qualify for. The downside of those loans is that, yes, we can do them for self-employed people, but they tend to have a little higher interest rate, and they require a higher down payment, usually 20 or 30%. In some cases, we're able to do it with 10%, but that's the way a lot of people buy houses. Rather than paying a ton of taxes, they have legal deductions, they have employees they have to pay. What they do is they use the bank statement program in order to qualify to purchase a home. So, as you can see by this video, it's not an easy subject. In fact, it's complicated, but we want to help you out. We want to give you the correct information, and we want to get you into the right track. The only way to do that is take a look at your situation one-on-one. And the way you do that is you give us a call, we make an appointment, 760-488-6482. We talk to you on the phone, you send us your paperwork, and we make a determination. Buying a home as a self-employed person is not impossible, it's just a little harder. But that means we have to work harder for you. You have to work harder for yourself. You are already used to doing that. You know that you have to come adversity. So we are here to help you overcome that adversity of being self-employed when you're trying to buy a home. Now, we're here to help. Give us a call anytime. Remember, the First Time Buyer channel. Hit subscribe. Check out our other videos. And we will see you next week.